Hello and welcome along, and something very special for you today. We're going to be looking at this. So this is a gaming keypad from Azeron. Have you seen anything like it before in your life? It is stunning. Okay, so in this video what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through all of the hardware features on this, and we're going to go through the software features that come with it. And we're also going to be connecting it up to a PlayStation 4 because we're going to be going at this from a console player's perspective. Now I'm going to be connected up to a PS4. It works exactly the same as the Xbox, so everything that just applies to the PS4, it will be Xbox as well. It's just I've got my PS4 here, that's why. And I'll talk you through that later on. Okay, so what is it? Basically, it's a keyboard in a way that it's so much more comfortable and so much more easier to use. Okay, so one-handed keyboards, they've been around for a while, but nothing as stunning as this. And what makes this beautiful is the fact that it's so comfortable when you put your hand on it, and you've got access to these buttons, because each one of these gold bits here are representative of a button on a keyboard. And I'll talk to you about that, the software, later for customizing it. But each of these are programmed to be a button, and the idea is, like the index finger here, you've got access to 1, 2, 3, 4 within hardly a 2 centimeter movement, if that. So you can do some really fine button pressing really easily. So this is completely 3D printed. Azeron are quite a small company, relatively new as well. I think it's just easier if they 3D print it, because these are going to be quite intricate to manufacture. And it's really nicely built, as you can see on there. You can see that it's 3D printed from there. And there's 5 places for your fingers and thumb, 2 smaller towers here, 2 larger towers, and then a thumb tower here. They do 2 versions. They do a normal and a compact version. This is kind of like the classic normal version. It's got the longer ones, whereas the compact version, it will lop these towers off, and it just has a button on the top, so you don't get the extra height or the extra buttons up here. Okay, so speaking of classic and compact and all different things, what we're going to do now is, I've got to show you this because this is pretty new for their website, is the ordering process is brilliant because they've got this new 3D modelling real time. So what we're going to do is we're going to flick over to the website and I'm going to talk you through the ordering process. Okay, so here we are. There's the website. I'll link down below of where you can go and have a look at this. You might as well go and customise it. It's really good fun. You can spend hours on it, customising it to the way you want. And I've pretty much set it up to be how mine is, with the black and the gold. So on the left there you get to choose classic or compact, or left hand or right hand, curved, flat, or both. I'll talk about those in a bit. Then you just measure your hand just to make sure you get the right size, and then here comes the exciting bit. Okay, so over on the right you can move this all around to make sure you see the right colours, and all on the left you can change. So if you go up to the top and change it to green, you can change those 4 to green, and over on the right there in real time that changes. And you can pretty much change anything you want. So the D-pad, you want that one as green, and the nameplate is green, and then you can have green towers if you want, or if you wanted pink towers, you can change it to that. You can get this to look exactly the way you want it, even to the point of, you see where it says Azeron there, above those 2, there's 2 yellow dots. They are LEDs. I'll talk to you about that in a bit with the profiles, but the LEDs there are currently yellow. You can change them to UV if you want. Absolutely superb. Orange, let's have orange analog thumbstick, and then down here where it says Azeron, you can put your own custom name there, 2 to 8 characters. It is a fantastic ordering system, and I think that's relatively new what they've done on the website, and I think it's brilliant what they've done, and it really engages you when you're designing it so you can see exactly how you want it. And I basically went for all black apart from gold for a Death Stranding kind of theme, and then I'll put console and tech accessories on the side there. Okay, so also this is one of the reasons why I think this is brilliant for gaming, is for this thumbstick here. So when you get the box, it comes with a load of accessories, and this thumbstick actually pops off. So there, and it's convex or concave in small, medium, or large. So you get a choice of 6. So there's the kind of like the large version, the longer version, and then you've got a medium version, and then you've got a small version in convex and concave. I've gone for the convex small just because I prefer that, and all it does, it clips on there like that. Also, it comes with this screwdriver. I'll leave this out in a minute because I want to talk to you about customizing it. And with this one, I've got my Allen key attachment on it, and it also comes with a Phillips and a flat. Also nicely, you get a screwdriver, Allen key, and a few extra spare screws. A 7-foot braided USB cable, nicely terminated at the end. Feels like a really nice USB cable. And then what we were saying about the palm rests on the website, this is the other one. So this is kind of like the flat one, and this is the curved one. You can see the difference. And the way you change that is you take this bit off, swap it for this one and this one. Just when you take it off, there's a bit of electronics inside. Really easy. You just make sure that those three get plugged back in to where you take them out under there. And that's all you do to swap them over. And when it arrives, it feels like a decent bit of kit. It is 3D printed and there's some electronics inside it which gives it a bit of weight. So it's always nice to have when you get something to feel like it's not flimsy or it's not kind of light or anything like that. It's a hefty piece, so it's 400, just under 500 grams, just under half a kilogram, so you know it's a hefty piece. And you're never going to be picking it up and using it. It's always going to be stuck to the desk and moving it. And the weight adds to being able to stick to the desk, but you've also got these 4 pads and 6 along here just to keep it nice and secure on the desk. Now the beauty of this as well is the customization. So once you've worked out that you want one, and once you've ordered it, and once you've gone through all the box, it's time to adjust it to your hand. So these 4 towers here and this bit can all move. Okay, I've loosened it off a little bit for you just to show you that they all move forwards and backwards and that way. So that way, and they're forwards and backwards. And the way you do this is with this included tool. So let's use this one because I've got it a little bit looser. All you do is you go to the back and you undo these screws. So I want to move it this way. Okay, so I undo that one, get it a bit loose, and then it moves. Okay, so you move it to how you want it and you think, yeah, I want it there. Yep, that's nice and comfortable for me. Go back over, tighten it up, and it's stuck. And also, this as well, these 4 towers, they move forward and backwards. So once they're loose, move it forward and backwards. I want it there, that's perfect for me. I then tighten up those 2. And then once they're tight, that ain't moving. Repeat that process for those 4 and this one. So this one, it kind of comes out of the box over there. You might like it there, so you press it when you move forward your thumb. I don't. I prefer it all the way over here. I don't have a problem with that. And then I can just whack it like that, whack, 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 and that's my button press. Okay, so I like it there. Turn over. Screw it in, it's stuck. And again, this one can move forward or backwards, so if you want it close to your thumb you can do, but you're going to touch that quite easily, or you can have it further away if you want a nice big press. I like it kind of so my thumb doesn't hit it when I push my thumb through, so about there I like it. There we go. You can do that and you can spend ages making sure you get this perfectly fitting to your hand, and it is super, super comfortable. Now, once you've got it all set up and it's all ready to go, you're going to want to jump into some games. Now, there are games on the console that already support keyboard and mouse. Okay, so games like Warzone, Overwatch, Final Fantasy 14, they already support keyboard and mouse. So all you need to do is pick this up, plug it into your console, and it will work. So for example, earlier today we got into a game of Warzone and we just played about with it, and all you do is just plug this in. You don't need to worry about any setting up if you don't want to. It's a good idea to go into the Azeron software, which I'll talk about next, but really you don't need to. You just need to plug it in. And you can use this as long as this is WASD. Again, I'll talk about it in the software, but everything is there for you. You might need to do some button mapping. So when you go into the settings, you go into settings and make sure these are where you want it. But it's plug and play for those kind of games. For everything else, we're gonna need a keyboard and mouse adapter. and I suggest for every single game for the PS4 and Xbox is using the keyboard and mouse adapter, because there is a lot more customization that you can have with that software in terms of using it on a console. With a keyboard, you stick the Azeron software and change it all in there, but for a console it's a little bit different, and mainly because of this thumbstick here. Okay, so once you've got it all set up, you've ordered it, it's come, you've got it all set up and it's beautiful and comfortable, and you want to jump into a game, what I would suggest to do, first thing, is firing up the Azeron software, okay? The software is really good. It only works on a Windows PC, so I had to go and grab a laptop out of the shed, and I fired it up and it ran on a really old laptop perfectly. So all you do is you fire up the software. Now, here's the thing. Go and check the firmware. Just go and get the latest firmware for this and for the app. Make sure that's downloaded and make sure you've updated the firmware for this. Now, here's the important thing. If you are going to be using this with a keyboard and mouse adapter, you need to change two things. So you need to go into the software and change this to be ANALOG JOYSTICK. Okay, not WASD, ANALOG JOYSTICK. That's what I found worked best. And then changing this to be D-pad. So what you do is you click on this with the up, down, left and right, and you change it to joystick D-pad up, joystick D-pad down, joystick left, joystick D-pad right. Okay, so just change those two. If you're going to be using this natively on a PC, or if you're going to be natively on a console for the games, leave this as WASD. Okay, you don't need it to be analog joystick or it won't work, because when you're using, so for example with COD, what we were doing Warzone earlier, it will only accept it if it's WASD. Okay, but for the purposes of linking this up with a keyboard and mouse adapter, analog joystick, and then change that to be up, down, left and right. Okay, that's all you need to do on the Azeron software. So make sure it's updated, make sure those two are updated, leave all of these as stock. You may as well, because we can change that in the other software. So just leave all of these of what they are already set to. And one final thing is, once you've set up the software, you can have two profiles on the software, Profile 1 and Profile 2. So Profile 1 has one LED and Profile 2 would light up two LEDs. You don't need to worry about that if you're going to be using a keyboard and mouse adapter, but it does have them. And also profiles in the Azeron software is you can have software profiles, which means you can have macros and things like that all set up on a button, so you can have that button press. For me, I didn't worry about that because I just kept it nice and simple, and I didn't worry about Profile 1 and Profile 2. I just left Profile 1 to be joystick and then the analog, and you can have Profile 2 as WASD if you're going to be swapping, and you swap profiles by pressing that. Okay, so stick Profile 1 as analog and your D-pad on there. Okay, so once it's all set up, you're going to need a keyboard and mouse adapter. Okay, there's no way around it. If you want to use a keyboard and a mouse on a console, you're going to need a keyboard and mouse adapter. And the one that I found works particularly well is the Xim. It's a very popular device, this is. This is the Xim 4. The Ximapex will work just as well. That's just a newer model. If you can get this cheap off eBay, I've used this one. I know it works. I know it's fantastic. So I would get this one if you can. Any other keyboard and mouse adapter will work, but this one I found is absolutely fantastic because of the software, and you can change all your profiles on the fly when using it. Okay, so what else you need is, so you need this, which is the Xim 4. You also need this, which is the USB cable for the Azeron. A micro USB, which we're going to plug in straight away, is for the power. So this will plug straight into your PS4. You're going to need another micro USB cable. I've got a massive long one because I like to have my controller plugged miles away from my PS4. And there we go. There's the DS4 that you need for this. And that would be plugging into there. And this plugs into the back of the Xim, like so. And here is where the Azeron would plug in. So you get your USB, plug your Azeron in and plug that into number 1, and in number 2 that's where you put your mouse. I've got this one. This is just a Logitech G203, just an old mouse I had kicking around. I know that it works, and plug that into there like so. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to go away and get this all tidied up and all plugged in exactly as it is. Okay, we have everything set up now, as it were. It's just a little bit neater. Now, the first thing you're going to do is go onto your respective app store for your phone and download the Xim Software. It's a brilliant piece of software and it's going to help you customize all the bits you need for this. So, once you've downloaded the Xim Software, all you do is you plug this in to any spare USB. I haven't done anything to any of this so far. All you do is you just plug it in, and what it will do, it will start to work. So give it a few seconds for it to light up, and then we're going to wait for the number one light to light up on the Azeron there. There we go. So it's pinged on there. So we know we're on profile 1 at the moment, and there we go. So it's working at the moment. Okay. The thumbstick won't work at the moment because we need to go into the Xim Software. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your phone, go into the Xim Software and connect to it. All you do is click connect and it will find that. It will start flashing white. There we go. And click on the new one. Click on the top right where the 3 lines are and do new, and find a game that you want to customize. So for example, it doesn't really matter which one we're going to use, but let's choose Fortnite. So we're going to choose Fortnite. Choose it with its Xbox or PS4 down the bottom there. Let's choose PS4. And what you can do with the Xim Software is you can change it on the fly. You just have this open and you can change which. So remember, we've got 2 profiles on here. You can have loads of profiles and you just change for which game and which console as well. So if you wanted to use Fortnite on the PS4, but you've also used Warzone on the Xbox, you can have them all listed. So if I click my load, I've got Overwatch controller, Overwatch PS4, I've got a console crossover, I've got Overwatch on the PS4, and I've got Fortnite on the PS4. All you do is just select it, and it will load up to your settings. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is, in the Xim Software, is edit it. So hit the top left button, and then go down to buttons. And for the PS4, I'm just going to make sure I've got X, which is my main button, on to here. So I'm going to press that on there, onto there, and I'll press that one. So I now know that this button here on the Azeron is X. Then also what you need to do is you need to change the D-pad. So we're going to select this on up on the D-pad, and then we're going to set up, because remember we changed in the Azeron Software this to be the D-pad, and then down, click it, it will go listen, and click down, and then we're going to hit right, so hit right on it, and then left, then left. Okay, then if you want to hit save, you can go through all of this at your own leisure, do whatever you need to. But if we look now on the PS4, the D-pad now is the D-pad as it was working. Okay, so that's how you do that. The thing that you need to do now is go away and set this up as best you can. I would suggest going and looking on the Xim forums. There's a lot of information on there about setting this up for certain games. That's what you need to do. There's a bit of an effort involved in it. There's no effort involved in this. It's all going to be in this software, because you're going to need to change things like the sensitivity. But as long as you've got this as an analog thumbstick and you've got this as the D-pad, you won't have any problems at all. And the beauty is that if I just disconnect this I think this is more suited to console gaming, is because of this thumbstick. Okay, and if you're using this, we talked about the classic and the compact. The classic, you've got these extra buttons up here. You're not actually going to be needing these, because games are designed on the PlayStation and the Xbox to be using with the controller. So your thumbstick is going to be this. Your L2 and R2 are going to be left click and right click. In the Xim Software, you can change. So this mouse here has got 2 buttons here. In the Xim Software, you can use these 2. It will recognise that. So you could have the 2 bumpers to be those if you wanted it to be. But games limitation on the console are limited to the number of buttons on a controller. So really, you're only going to need about 10 or 12. Well, there's 12 there, right there. So you're hardly ever going to need much movement to hit all of the face buttons on your PS4 or Xbox controller. Superb. Okay. So in conclusion then, I think this is a fantastic piece of kit. I recommend this to anyone if you're going to be using a keyboard and mouse on a console, or even if you do a PC gaming as well. It's so comfortable. it makes it so much easier to press these buttons. And there's hardly any movement needed. It's going to be some muscle memory going from a joystick, but there's going from a joystick to a keyboard is going to be muscle. You're going to need different muscle memory anyway, so you might as well get used to it on this. And this thumbstick here is a game changer. The thumbstick on here, I think if this wasn't on here, it would be different, but it is, and it's lovely. Like I'm saying, there have been other one-handed keyboards, nothing quite as stunning as this. If you want a high-end, top-end keyboard alternative, one-handed keyboard alternative with a thumbstick, I can't recommend this highly enough. Go and have a look in the links below of where you can get hold of one. Go and customise one to your own colours, because you might as well. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, do leave a thumbs up, do subscribe if you're new around here, and if you've got any questions on this, the biggest question will be setting it up for different games. You need to go and look at the Xim Software forums. They've got all of the answers on there, and they will help you out, and you can load on profiles and stuff. Absolutely fantastic. Or if you've got any other issues, do let me know. Do let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. Okay, I've been Console and Tech Accessories. This is a look at the gaming keypad from Azeron, linking up to the PS4 or Xbox. And until the next video, bye-bye.